Hey, Garage Logic fans, I do a podcast on the Garage Logic Network that comes out every Wednesday and Friday now, twice a week. But here's an important caveat. There is zero logic available in my show, in the formal definition of logic. Of course, life is a yin and yang kind of thing. There's the logic side, and then there's the what the hell side, which needs to get its exercise. So come for the what the hell and stay for the you've got to be kidding me. Mishki, now Wednesdays and Fridays, twice a week.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1672.
Nope.
No, not even close.
What did I say?
Not even close.
Your 7 looks like a 1, I think, in that
It's a
scenario.
1612, Joe.
Let's take her from the top.
Oh, I turned that 1 into a 7?
There
You
go.
can't write a 7 or an 8.
Here's a guy.
Garage Logic Podcast number 1612.
There we go.
Bingo.
September 4th, 2025. Just like yesterday. The same deal. Same thing. 98 degrees on this day in 1925 and 2023. It was the same yesterday. Isn't that interesting?
That's nice.
And on the morning of the State Fair in 1974, it was 39 degrees. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Now for something completely different.
Okay, Monty.
You'll recall our pal Tom Cullen is a listener. I know the fellow. Everything he writes is trustworthy. He was the fellow who took umbrage with his representative, Bianca Vernig, when she and many other, all DFLers, refused to go to work last January, but were still getting paid.
Yes.
And he wanted some recompense for that. He was thinking that's not fair game. And you'll recall, I meant to look up his previous
Heather Mueller.
emails.
Chantil Ellen.
Jody.
Oh, Bianca
Who's
Vernig.
in truth?
Bianca Vernig. Didn't I keep his other stuff?
Tell me what you need to know.
Well, I just was going to fill you in case there's listeners that don't remember his initial emails.
Oh.
And I would have.
I
Here
can't
they
help
are.
you with
Here
that.
they are.
Got him.
Well, here's one, for example, from January 27th of this year. Joe, I'm beside myself as I look at the lack of care the Minnesota Democratic House representative has for the constituents of their districts. I am in Minnesota House District 52B, and Rebecca Vernig is my absent rep. I have been watching Trump be presidential by doing something about the problems our country is facing. He is tireless and decisive as well as effective. He isn't talking, he is acting. I cannot compel Vernig to do the job she was elected to do. I have called her office with no response and sent emails to the same end. I am inspired, so instead of just talking, I have decided to act. I have filed against Representative Vernig in Dakota County Conciliation Court. I am asking for a return of my tax dollars I paid to the state of Minnesota in 2024. Clearly, my tax dollars are at risk as the state is infected by waste, fraud, and abuse at every level. Bianca Vernig, my basement-dwelling rep, is violating and neglecting her duties to me as my elected state rep by failing to appear on my behalf to represent my interests in ongoing meetings and sessions of the Minnesota legislature. I'm being taxed without representation, and I want my dollars off the table and returned to me before they buy a hotel in Somalia. I will have my day in court, and I will be doing something. I am risking $80 to file and my time. I am not an attorney or anything of the sort. I sell electric wheelbarrows. I must work every day, and I am grateful for that. These people have forgotten who they work for, and even though I can't go to her office to make my point, she will have to face me in court, and I will have my say. Best regards, Tom. And that's that we asked him from that moment on, keep us informed. And we had another one, and I apologize, I forgot to look this up. In any event, here's the current update. Joe, I wanted to give you an update on my conciliation court case against Representative Bianca Vernig, District 52B, and share what has unfolded since I first wrote to you. As you know, I filed suit and was scheduled for a virtual hearing on July 24th. I petitioned Dakota County for an in-person hearing, something I thought was a basic right in open court. After weeks of calls and paperwork, my request was denied for lack of case significance and limited resources. Yet at the same time, I was called to jury duty in Hastings. That proceeding was entirely in person in a vast courthouse that was nearly empty except for the jurors, the attorneys, and a few security staff. Entire corridors of judicial chambers sat unused. It left me wondering why taxpayers are funding facilities and staff that seem absent from the work we expect them to perform. This theme repeated itself at St. Paul City Hall in August when I appeared for a hearing about a long-standing water bill dispute. Entering from the Kellogg entrance, I was the only citizen there. The only person passing through security on a weekday afternoon. The building was silent and deserted. When I reached the third floor, the mayor's offices were the first doors I saw, completely empty, not a soul. Next were the city council chambers and offices, again completely empty. I then found room 313 and finally found people. But I only found 3 people seated with laptops. They were my council rep, an administrator, and the head of the water department. No staff, no movement, no sign of the daily work of government. It was another stark example of abandoned buildings and absent public servants, all while the taxpayers continue footing the bill. This is bigger than one representative not answering calls or one conciliation case. What I am seeing repeatedly is a government apparatus that is largely absent physically and functionally. Courtrooms, city halls, and offices stand empty while fraud, waste, and neglect multiply. The taxpayers who support these institutions deserve better. I'm just one citizen, a wheelbarrow salesman, not an attorney or a political operative. But I pay taxes, I follow the law, and I expect transparency, accountability, and presence from those who work for us. I believe this is a story that needs to see the light of day because it isn't just fraud or bad actors, it's systemic neglect. Yes, I use systemic as it is the perfect word for what is happening. Thank you for listening and for the work you do in bringing attention to the decline of common sense governance. You offered to help with my case, but now I believe it is our responsibility to do what we can to make sure every taxpayer in this state knows that we are victims of fraudulent representation. I will continue to be a huge pain in the ass wherever I can to bring light to this crisis. Best regards, Tom Cullen, CEO, Power Assist Technologies. Power Assist Technology must be a euphemism for an electric wheelbarrow.
Yeah, it's motor assisted.
Pretty cool. Huh?
I am absolutely enraged.
It is. Well, let's continue along this thought. Our friend Jay Coles has stumbled into exactly what Mr. Cullen was referring to.
I wouldn't use the word stumbled when it comes to Jay.
Well, not stumbled. He ferreted
Those
out.
days are over.
He got it.
Yeah.
He found a story. Oh, I get it.
Gotcha.
Jay's part of the club, too?
Sure is.
The gear.
Yep. In fact, I think he's the president.
Yeah.
No, he has a story about how North Minneapolis Representative Jeremiah Ellison not only routinely misses meetings while he's here in town, he has plans to completely abandon the city council, yet retain his paycheck from the city council, while he goes to Harvard for one of these pretend scams that politicians get called to Harvard for. And It's a fellowship.
Oh.
I'm sure to study
Sounds wonderful.
urban something. Minneapolis City Council member Jeremiah Ellison accepted a fellowship at Harvard, which means he will miss City Council committee meetings between now and when his term concludes at the end of December. And it's a paid fellowship at Harvard. Ellison told Jay Coles of 5 Eyewitness News he intends to keep his city council seat and the $109,000 salary that the council people get while doing the fellowship in Massachusetts.
And getting paid.
What's that number?
They make $109,000, which doesn't count their benefits.
What's the fellowship pay them?
We don't know what the fellowship pays them. In a statement Tuesday, Ellison told KSTP, "I will continue my workload as normal." I really wouldn't call that a workload. I will continue that virtually. I will be present for most full city council meetings. Overall, nothing remarkable happening. No interview required. These people treat the public with disdain, don't they? Mm-hmm. KSTP found city council rules do not allow elected members to vote or participate in committee hearings and full city council meetings virtually. In other words,
that's a problem, Joe.
What Ellison intends to do is against the city council rules.
It's not allowed.
And yet all of the Marxists on the council are rooting for him because they all probably want to get their hands on the same scam at some point. KSTP asked City Council President Elliot Payne how he intends to handle this. Well, it's a conversation with the City Council, said Payne. I saw this on the news. Payne could not have been more dismissive.
He dodged it.
I would call him smug.
Smug, arrogant, entitled.
Yep.
How dare you? How dare you even cross paths with me?
Would you like to hear from him?
When I'm done with this story,
Gotcha.
We'll pick up Jay's. When asked if he was confident Ellison could serve his North Side constituents adequately, Payne said, "I think that's a conversation that City Council member Ellison has with his constituents every day." Well, Payne,
No.
you're lying. He doesn't have that conversation every day. KSTP checks city committee hearings. City Council committee hearings and full City Council meetings since August 11th. In that time, Ellison has been marked absent for meetings 8 times. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 9th. In other words, Jay Coles is doing the Lord's work here. He's doing what reporters used to do when newspapers covered things like this.
Can we deduct and prorate his salary if he's missing those?
When newspapers had City Hall bureaus, this kind of thing was covered extensively. Unfortunately, the newspapers do not wield the weight and the significance they did as recently as, say, 10 years ago. So what we have is Jay Cole stepping in, doing good work, investigating this preposterous notion that the city council is so out of touch with the public that they ostensibly serve, that one of them, in this case Ellison, it's probably a family business to grift. Ellison is going to Harvard till the end of December, and he'll be paid by Harvard and be paid by the city. And before we get to Jay, I think the question that remains is, what will the city council do? They'll probably, conveniently enough, change their own rules to allow Ellison to vote and attend
because they're all looking at
virtually, which currently is against their law. It's against their protocol. But you have the wrong city council people to enforce it. Latricia Vito is upset. Beyond that, I don't know anybody else who is. Why don't you play what Jay Coles had for us?
Ellison is listed as absent.
Hang tight.
All right, we're keeping our focus on your tax dollars.
Just a minute. We won't play it if we don't have volume. It's not your fault. If we don't have volume, we won't play it. I said basically what Jay did.
Can I interrupt you for 1 minute, Joe?
Yeah.
Kenny asked how much Harvard pays.
Yeah.
It's a Loeb Fellowship that he received, and for an academic year, a Loeb Fellowship pays $57,500.
Okay, and
Lord Almighty.
Well, I suppose we could assume that he's not going for an academic year. He apparently is only going from now until December. But for all I know, in the failed academy, they figured a way out to call that a year.
Well, he already started, right? Because he's missed all those meetings.
He's already missed time.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's assume he's getting the 57 then. That gets his salary up to what, 100?
We're about 170.
66, 170?
170?
Not to mention all the perks you'll get from Harvard in the city. This is
diem.
an outrage, and no one cares. And I really wish I knew why no one in this state cared. Minneapolis is in extraordinary trouble. St. Paul is a failed city. And you have these people that we've managed to elect who have absolutely zero interest in representing the people who elected them. They're in there for their own benefit. It has nothing to do with public service.
We're worried about the fair. We're worried about kids back in school. We're worried about J.J. McCarthy. We don't care about this.
It's absolutely a crying shame that this phony Ellison gets away with this. And you know what? He'll get away with it because you've got Chug Tai and who are some of these other screwballs on the council?
Who's the Cortez guy?
Jason Chavez. All these Marxists, they back this up because I bet their lips are smacking. They want this same gig. Oh, I hope I get a fellowship because I'll take off in a heartbeat because I'm not here for the people. I'm here for my own benefit.
Wansley, Rainville,
Yeah.
Osman, Cashman, Andrea, Chavez, Chugtai, Koski, Chowdhury, Palmasano. The only one I didn't mention was Latricia.
There's got to be somebody besides Latricia Vito who disagrees with this.
She seems like the only person that has a conscience on the... I mean, that's all I would ask, and it seems like they don't have a conscience.
I can't go on like this.
Meanwhile,
Well, the United States, we're crashing and burning. We're augering in. We're exploding. It's over.
Well, to go back to Cullen's letter, are you surprised by what he found?
No.
In other words, he's contesting a water bill. He's treated like SHIT. He goes to the courthouse. There's nobody working. They're at home.
How can that be?
Frankly, I was surprised at that. Surprised and stunned. I think that's why I'm so angry. I wasn't ready for that.
There is a news story on the Star Tribune about it.
About what?
About this whole story, the Ellison thing, with an interesting quote.
It wasn't in the paper, John. It must be online only.
It's brand new. It was 2 hours or 3 hours ago it was posted. And apparently Paul Massano is also against
thank
this
God.
happening.
Yeah.
Paul Massano questioned why council leaders, quote, act surprised they're being asked questions like this. She said the action highlights complacency and complicity to our city's workforce and the public that we're supposed to be here for and serve. Ellison asked about the story. Here's the comment I was talking about. Declined, saying, I think I've humored it too much already.
Wow. Wow.
The contempt. They actually hold contempt for the citizens.
What an asshole.
Pretty bold to say that.
Wow.
That's, crazy.
And this Elliot Payne, he comes off as this regal, important... never
the
mind.
stance of being
can't do
annoyed
this.
by being asked a question, man, that is ballsy.
Was he the one that was going to shove the legislation or his ideas down their throats? Or was that Osman?
No, that was
Or
Chavez.
Chavez.
That was Chavez.
That was Ward 9,
That was
Jason
Caesar.
Chavez.
Caesar.
It's not Caesar, damn it.
Meanwhile, those property taxes aren't going down anytime soon.
We're
poorly served.
more on that later.
We're upside down. This isn't the way it's supposed to work. It's disheartening. There's no character here. The lack of moral and ethical integrity can manifest itself in many, many ways. And in this example, it's manifesting itself by a guy like Ellison having no character, no truth to his ideals, no ideals, period.
Vita, Latricia's quotes, Joe, are fantastic. Without Councilmember Ellison sitting on those committees, which he is not a part of anymore, we have zero North Minneapolis representation on those committees. That's not acceptable to only other North Side council member up there, Vita said. It's just not fair. Here we go. Another moment to disenfranchise the North Side. With everything that's happening on the North Side, the council member does not give a rat's ass about the people he represents.
Not a bit.
What a crook.
Why?
Wow.
There's two reasons, maybe, that people like him and Chug Tai and the rest of these frauds get elected. People are either horribly and uselessly uninformed, paying no attention, or they're getting a taste. They're getting taken care of. They're getting part of the action. They're getting taken care of. That can be the only two reasons. No sane, rational human being could vote for Ellison on the North Side. So one, you either don't give a bleep, you saw a DFL sign, so you just filled in the blank because you're uninformed. I'm resisting saying stupid. You're uninformed. You're not paying attention. Or you're getting a piece of the action. Yeah. That's the only reason.
Or you lack that same ethical and moral clarity that you should have.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Or you think you'll get something if you vote for him. Money, whatever. And God knows that's entirely plausible given that this state has no one in a position of authority to control fraud.
Nope. One reason.
You're here for one reason.
But don't forget, any vote for a Democrat is a vote against Trump. There's always that reason, too.
Yeah, but this precedes Trump's arrival on the scene.
Yeah, he did.
This is why we need Omar Fateh to clean things up in Minneapolis.
That's what I was making a reference to, actually, is people that are running for office in city council. In his case, it's not city council.
No, there's no reason
mayor.
he should run for. He should not be allowed to run for office. He's a crook.
Allegedly.
I'm not even sure it's allegedly.
I'm just hoping you will.
Yeah, allegedly doesn't help, by the way. I've told you guys that a million times.
From the latest from all of Minneapolis, who I finally was able to touch base with, Karen Birkland, the head of it, she's agreed to come on with us next week. She's traveling right now. Omar's 2020 campaign was involved in a well-documented case of voter fraud involving completing ballots for at-risk adults without their knowledge. And then his brother-in-law committed perjury to cover that up. Fateh then denied knowing his own brother-in-law.
Never met him before in my life.
Right.
Nearly a third of Fateh's campaign donations in 2021 came from people associated with Feeding Our Future. In return for those donations, Fateh attended a public event with Feeding Our Future Executive Director Amy Bach and criticized the State Department of Education's decision to pause funding for the nonprofit, to which I would add, and petition Keith Ellison to go to bat on his behalf, which Keith Ellison did, lecturing the state's own Minnesota Department of Education, how dare you cut off the money that's going to these fraudsters. Now, it wasn't stated like that, but that's essentially what it was. And now, Ellison, your own kid knows how to work the scam, doesn't he? You guys are pathetic. You've got no balls, you've got no character, you've got no soul. You're all pathetic.
And he wears that stupid hat.
Who?
Jeremiah.
Is he one of those guys that wears the stocking cap in July?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a cool
the
look.
Fat Albert one.
Yeah. Here. Have fun. Get to EcoFun.
There it is. Change gears.
Go to EcoFun. Take a deep breath. Walk into the fantasy land. You deserve it. It's the greatest outdoor recreational store in the world. It's in Forest Lake, Columbus on Highway 97, immediately west of 35, and down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42. It's the electric bike capital of the world, motorized scooters, great motorcycles, water equipment, youth recreational gas-powered equipment. I mean, the stuff is fun. It's just really fun stuff. Side-by-sides, 4x4s. Any day now, I suppose the winter plows will start arriving.
Ooh.
Stop by, take a look. It's just absolutely fun. Helmets and apparel, too. A service department. EcoFunMotorsports.com. It's EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake on 97, just west of 35, and down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42, and a really addicting website, EcoFunMotorsports.com.
Football is finally back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Play with as little as $1, and you just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, and lots more. This year, I'll probably stick with some of my favorite players like Josh Jacobs of the Packers. He helped me win money last year by usually going higher on yards rushing. I'll be looking for him to again go higher on rushing yards. It's easy to pick, and it makes watching the games that much more fun. Download the app today and sign up with promo code GARAGE to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code GARAGE. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Promo code GARAGE. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Oh, I've been plugging how awesome fall is for the last couple of weeks. The one thing I forgot to mention, two things. High school football, college football. I forgot to mention those wonderful fall events. Fall is the best. All things fall are awesome. And GL's chief groundskeeper, Dave at ProTurf, telling us it's also the perfect time for root development. Perfect time to put the ProTurf landscape team to work, planting trees and shrubs and even grass. Put that team to work, reinvigorating your outdoor environment. Do it today. Get in touch with them before the weekends. ProfessionalTurf.com. Let's get that landscaping project on the schedule. Well, we're talking about professional designs by certified designers, and it can be anything from simple to extremely complicated. Anything you can dream up. If you can't dream it up, talk to them. They'll help you, and they'll show you photos, digital images, I call it voodoo, of what your project will look like before they even start shoveling. And we still have the state fair special running now. Get either a 6-foot Colorado spruce or a 2-inch sugar maple with any project of $4,000 or more. That's a value of $650. Pretty significant there. Do it now before the trees run out. Get in touch with professionalturf.com. Fill out that free estimate request, and let's get this landscape party started. Professionalturf.com.
So in response to the sorrow and tragedy at Annunciation Catholic Church and School, GL once again wants to highlight the importance of the Frontline Foundation, the first responders. The Frontline Foundation supports the men and women in their time of need, no matter what that is, including the payout of death benefits to families when a first responder dies in the line of duty and makes that ultimate sacrifice for others. GLers, we can have their backs. It's this simple. Go to garagelogic.com/donate. That's garagelogic.com/donate. You can also find more information at garagelogic.com. Rook, I asked Rook to look up Elliot Payne. He's the city council president. I must admit, now I'm not a Minneapolis voter, so I'm off the hook, I think. I don't know a great deal about him. Who he?
Grew up on the north side of Milwaukee, raised by a single mom, moved to Minneapolis to pursue a bachelor's degree in engineering at the U of M, relocated to northeast Minneapolis in 2005. He later received a master's degree in business administration from the Carlson School of Management in 2010. He began his career as an engineer and then moved towards digital advertising and software design consulting. He was adjunct professor with the at MCAB, Minnesota College of Art and Design. He joined in 2016 the City of Minneapolis Office of Performance and Innovation, bringing his design focus to a municipal government role, and then ran for city council in 2021.
Well, it sounds like he actually has had some experience in life. I wonder how he became such a turd.
He lives in Audubon Park in Minneapolis with his wife, Lindsay. Here
That's
we go.
Northeast.
Here we go.
Yeah.
He's an avid cyclist and commutes to work via bicycle.
Good for him.
Bordered on the west by the Mississippi. We're talking Ward 1. On the east by Stinson. 37th Avenue Northeast is the northernmost border, and Como southeast is the southernmost
So describe that neighborhood. What's the vibe?
That's northeast and southeast. It's blue collar.
Okay.
It's all working.
Well, he was so full of disdain for J. Cole's trying to ask him anything.
As the council president, you're accountable for that. He missed 8 meetings.
Yes, he has. Well, again, as you guys pointed out, apparently Ellison's scam is already underway. His fellowship scam is already underway. Nothing I can do about that.
I wonder if this happens in Duluth, St. Cloud, Rochester.
Yes.
Cato.
My answer would be yes.
Wilmer. Does that happen there? I wonder.
Oh, boy, now you know, Wilmer, I don't know. There's a fighting chance that Wilmer might be on the up and up.
A lot of immigrants in Wilmer. And Cato.
Speaking of outstate Minnesota, I want to read you an email from a sheriff. Let me see if I have it here. Is this it? What's this?
A sheriff?
Yeah.
Well, that looks long.
Huh?
That looks lengthy.
Well, it's very interesting.
I'm going to run get a sandwich.
Yeah.
This is a Scott Rose, a sheriff in southwestern Minnesota.
Oh, cool.
And he wishes to share some of his frustrations with gun permitting laws. All right? This is what the guys out there are dealing with. I just thought I'd share some info about our experiences with the state's gun permit background checks, having issued permits to purchase and carry for over 3 terms as sheriff here in southwestern Minnesota, and then parenthetically adds, nowhere near St. Cloud. Permits to purchase are issued by the law enforcement head in the jurisdiction you reside. If you're in city limits, your permit is approved by the chief of police. If you're in the county, you go to the sheriff. This is a 1-year permit with a minimal universal background check. Permits to carry are only issued by the sheriff in the county you reside in and are good for 5 years. These require a more extensive background check and also serve as your permit to purchase. Several years ago, the state changed how background checks are done. The legislature's intent was to show the public they were getting tougher on gun laws, parenthetically, feel-good laws. What they did was create a black and white cookie-cutter format that took much of the discretion Minnesota sheriffs and chiefs had away and did nothing to address the bigger issue we have with mental health in our state and country. With our current gun permit background process, the only mental health disqualifiers are if the applicant has been formally institutionalized for mental health or if deemed unfit for trial. Otherwise, mental health records are protected by HIPAA, and we can't access them. Seeing a therapist or being on medication for mental health issues does not automatically disqualify you. For applicants with past criminal history, it's frustrating that we can have local hooligans apply who've been able to plead down any qualifying crimes of violence charges to non-disqualifying offenses and be eligible. While there are many frustrating examples, I had one applicant who had been in and out of jail his entire life in our county with over a dozen pages of criminal history. Yet all his convictions were pled down to non-disqualifying offenses, making him eligible for a permit to purchase. The state will argue that sheriffs and chiefs still have discretion to disqualify applications like his, which we have done. However, if the applicant appeals after spending thousands of taxpayer dollars arguing our position in court, the judges will likely side in favor of the applicant because there are no disqualifiers specific to statute on his or her official record. Wow. The new red flag law, ERPO, Extreme Risk Protection Order, is a civil court order that requires the respondent to surrender their firearms. This may be to law enforcement, a licensed dealer, or family, depending on the circumstances. The respondent is given 24 hours to do this. This has been a point of contention with law enforcement because you are giving someone who is mentally unstable 24 hours to think about the ruling and decide if they are going to comply with the act or act out against law enforcement or the public. If they appear in court and indicate they are no longer in possession of firearms, that's it. The courts are relying on the respondent to be truthful about their possession. The statute doesn't allow law enforcement to search the residence to ensure compliance without an additional judge's court order, only if there is probable cause to believe the respondent is still in possession. We have 2 ERPOs, Extreme Risk Protection Orders, that were done this week. And in both cases, the courts are relying on the respondent's word that they no longer possess firearms. Paralleling your point from yesterday, I find it interesting that the government prohibits persons under 21 from purchasing a handgun from a licensed dealer because they aren't mature enough for that responsibility, that they are deemed mature enough to approve life-altering, gender-affirming surgery. While you can't purchase a handgun from a dealer if you are under 21, you can purchase one privately and you can be in possession of one. How does that make sense? He questions. You guys discussed mandatory minimums for sentencing guidelines yesterday. While that sounds great on paper, the reality is there is often a workaround. For example, a felon in possession of a firearm faces a 60-month mandatory sentence in our state. However, these charges are often pled down to avoid extensive jail time, or judges have the discretion to order a downward departure based on several circumstances often referred to as safety valves. One last point. Our schools have long asked for financial assistance from the state for school resource officers. To date, the safety funding provided for our schools is not eligible for use to pay for or assist SRO programs. Fortunately, our 3 school districts in our county all recognize the benefit of having SROs and all pay themselves to have officers in the schools. I hope and pray they are able to continue that with the current state budget issues moving forward. Even in our small county, our mental health calls have gone up exponentially over the past few years, yet we are given few resources to help these people and no place to house them. Well, we could certainly make a long story short. The system is broken. Good luck. Scott, 25-plus years in Minnesota, law enforcement member, longtime listener and town council member. It sounds like this is a paradox. It sounds like Mysterians will bend over backwards to allow you to have the gun.
I would say unwittingly, but yeah, this, like we always say, this is a result of their lawmaking.
Do the Mysterians want such utter chaos, violence, and tragedy that the civilians will go to them begging to remove all guns from society?
It's already happening.
I mean, just think about this logically. You've got people in positions of authority who've managed to elect. They're not any good because people are either too uninformed or they're part of the action and getting a take. So the people we elect are Mysterians. They don't like America. They think it's flawed. Do they want a situation where what ultimately puts them totally in control of everything is their ability to remove every single weapon from the hands of American citizens?
Yeah.
And in creating that unlikely scenario, I admit, in creating that, they have, as Kenny would use the word, they have unwittingly made it possible for more and more people to get away with having a gun.
People that shouldn't have a gun.
Staff, anyone?
I can't fight you on any of that, Joe. Yeah.
Look what this sheriff puts up with every day. Hey, Sheriff.
I had no idea.
Bill Smith called. Well, there's an ERPO on him. Okay. And then they get Bill Smith into court, and the judge says, you still have your guns? Oh, no, I got rid of my guns. And the sheriff can't do anything about it.
The example he said...
God almighty!
Joe, the example he gave where the guy pled down every little thing and then applied for a permit to purchase.
Because he pled himself out of all the things that would have disqualified him from owning.
Yeah. So then I know I asked this a couple of days ago, but don't we have to turn to the judges?
The judges sound like they're no help. Look at this fruitcake judge that let the kid off that tried to threatened to shoot the woman in the head at Gustavus Adolph.
And then that would have me arguing that they are the most important candidates on the ballot, and they are the people we know the least about.
We know nothing about them. Are running unopposed. Why?
I know everything I need to know about governors, senators, representatives, president. Don't know anything about the judges.
But the extra knowledge, Kenny, isn't even preventing them from getting elected.
Right, they run unopposed.
Yeah. Because you're either too stupid or you're getting money.
Which one do we have to fall back on?
I mean, you gotta tell me something new. Give me something to work with here.
So then, like the roommate does, she goes to other people and she gets their opinion of the judges. So then you're just basically voting party line, which I guess that's where we're at in America now. We will pretty much have to.
Hashtag America.
Crossover voting is a thing of the past.
Well, you're hearing how complicated the world can be. That would come down to something as basic as getting into an auto accident, which I hope doesn't happen to you. But if you do, you need a team to help you work through the difficulties. That's Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys. Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant, they are a team. They're going to explain your rights, represent you, and help you through a tough time. Mike is at the top of the heap, man. He's been recognized as a super lawyer, and he's been named among Minnesota's top 40 personal injury lawyers by Minnesota Law and Politics. They're the Bible when it comes to that. Bradshaw and Bryant hopes you're never in an accident, but if you do or are, call them. 800-770-7008 or go to minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Your case evaluation is free, of course. And Bradshaw and Bryant does not want you to be part of the problem. Don't text and drive or drive distracted. That's just common sense from Bradshaw and Bryant.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
Let's talk about our good friends at Harmony Spirits down there in Harmony, Minnesota. Let me pull up the text. This is from Larry. Hi, Chris. Larry here from Harmony Spirits. Hope I'm not getting this late to you in the day, but can you please mention that our Facebook and Instagram page has moved to Harmony Spirits Distillery from Harmony Spirits. So I just wanted to make mention of all of that too, because their Facebook page is extremely active, by the way. You know what? It's still summer. We're gripping to it at the very end.
Oh, and spirits are great, aren't they?
And it's going to be a beautiful early fall, late summer weekend down there in Harmony, Minnesota. So maybe you've been waiting, for everything, your routine to get back to normal with the kids in school and whatnot. Make a trip down there this weekend. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. And you can see that beautiful tasting room down there in Harmony, Minnesota. And you can see for yourself that rotating menu of craft cocktails down there, and you can say hi to the entire crew. But if you're not able to do that, go to their Facebook page, see upcoming events and whatnot, but go into your local liquor store. And please do us a favor and ask for the Harmony brand by name. It doesn't matter whether you're a fan of the whiskey, the rum, the vodka, the gin. It does not matter. They make a wonderful, wonderful spirit that's handcrafted right here in Minnesota, Rookie.
I'm a fan of them all.
All the above?
Yeah.
Taken. Anyway, but like I said, you can also visit their website, which is harmonyspirits.net, and see everything. But stop in and say hi to the crew and let them know that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
Here's John Haidt.
Thank you, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. Before we get to news, as you guys know, especially Chris, if something gets mentioned or we have a guest or something, or we talk about somebody, I have to go look everything up about him.
Locked in.
And found some fascinating stuff about Sheriff Rose, who you just read the email from.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, it sounds like.
Yeah, he actually has a podcast called the Officer Down Memorial Podcast. He researches them himself, he writes them, and produces them. Now, you're wondering, he produces them?
Yeah.
Before he was in law enforcement, he attended broadcasting school in Arizona.
Really?
Worked in radio as an audio production director and an announcer for radio stations in Nebraska, Kansas, and Minnesota. So Sheriff Rose was a radio geek, just like all of us.
I wish he was on the staff.
Do you think he drives around and says, I was in radio back in the
I wonder if he does what I do. When a song comes on, does he walk the ramp and try to kiss the post like I do?
I bet he does.
Yeah, I thought that was rather interesting.
Maybe he doesn't want his county mentioned for some reason. He didn't include it.
No, we don't have to.
I wonder what the Arizona equivalent of Brown Institute was back then.
The Blue Institute. John Haidt in the newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. In news, first, a horrible breaking story this morning. 2 innocent people are dead. A child is in the hospital after a carjacking suspect being pursued by police crashed into another vehicle. Minneapolis Police Chief Brando Harris said police learned of a carjacking just after 8 this morning near East Lake Street and 4th Avenue South. Callers reported a man speeding, swerving into oncoming traffic, and even driving on sidewalks along Lake Street.
Oh, God almighty.
Tell me he's dead. Is he he the dead guy?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
That suspect crashed at one point, then tried to carjack another person at gunpoint. He initially failed, but found another victim, a woman, and violently carjacked her vehicle. Callers then reported the suspect dangerously driving that victim's vehicle, firing gunshots as he fled. According to Chief O'Hara, Minneapolis police located the suspect around 8:36, initiated a pursuit. Within minutes, the chief says the suspect hit a vehicle carrying innocent people. 2 women inside the vehicle died, and a child who is believed to be 5 or 6 years old taken to the hospital but is expected to survive, Chief O'Hara said. Police did recover a gun in the vehicle the suspect crashed in. The suspect, as we said, still alive, and he was arrested at the scene, according to police.
Unfortunately, this is another one that I heard play out on the scanner, and they knew the responding officer that was at the scene called for 4 medics, 4 ambulances right away. And they shut everything down, 55 and Penn.
I saw that car. It was just
Yeah.
mangled.
Is this a situation?
I read today that the police are not allowing their scanners to be heard. Did you read that?
That's Minneapolis police and Hennepin County for that. They've all gone encrypted. Yeah.
What were you listening to?
I don't know why I heard it. I was listening to what they call TAC channels.
Hey, don't reveal your let's go.
It's a tactical channel where they go to keep the regular channels open while they do a pursuit or a special case or something.
Johnny, is this going to be a case where we find out that this person has a lengthy and extensive criminal track record and has been released numerous times?
Well, you can plea those down.
Yeah.
I wonder where he got the gun.
He's probably pleaded all his disqualifiers down, and he was able to go in there and just buy a gun.
Yeah, unfortunately, 2 innocents are gone.
I wonder if one of those women was that kid's mom. I bet so. Huh?
Names, I'm looking at the report now. Names have not been released yet.
In other news, at least one of Minnesota's constitutional officers plans to leave office at the end of the term. State Auditor Julie Blaha, a Democrat, announced this morning she will not seek re-election in 2026. She was first elected in the role 2018, narrowly won re-election in 2022. Now, the office of the state auditor is a watchdog overseeing around $60 billion in local spending, focusing on how that money is being spent. State auditor also serves on several state boards and councils, including one that oversees state pensions and investments. Blaha said in her announcement, the OSA right now is at a high level of effectiveness, well positioned for a transition, so I don't plan to run for re-election. She touted modernizations, increased oversights, and strengthened local connections that were made during her time as state auditor, adding that the office was facing threats of being eliminated when she was first elected, and that's no longer the case. However, critics have questioned the office's job in the wake of the Feeding Our Future cases and other fraud allegations. Within a few hours of Blaha's announcement, Representative Dan Wolgamott, DFLer from St. Cloud, who is currently serving his 4th term in the House, announced his intention to run for state auditor. Speaking of Feeding Our Future, a Kenyan national has now been charged in the Feeding Our Future scheme, accused of helping his brother stash money abroad, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Mednaji Malim Aftin Sheikh.
That guy?
Yeah, you remember Naji. Yeah. He was indicted on Wednesday with conspiracy to commit international money laundering. He's accused of helping his brother, Abdiaziz Farah, spend and hide millions of dollars from his Feeding Our Future payments in Kenya. Farah sent some of the money to Sheikh, who then assisted in hiding the funds by investing in Kenyan real estate through fake corporate entities. Farah was...
What do you see? Kenyan real estate.
Farah was already charged and tried in the Feeding Our Future child nutrition scheme. He's already been sentenced to 28 years in prison. Now, this other fella, Sheikh, is still in Kenya, and federal prosecutors haven't said if they'll try to have him extradited to the U.S. to face charges. They do say there's probably no chance of getting that money back.
All right, I'll answer you.
Go.
I'm seeing huts.
I'm just sand lot. It's just a dirt, and it's
Move
got a little.
to where the food is.
And describe the for sale sign that's in
the bad dripping paint.
It's just a stick, and it's
And-
hastily pounded into the ground.
And one of those giant orange Fleet Farm bags full of $20 bills.
Well, funny you should mention that, Kenny. Did anybody see this story? See the pictures that
No.
go with it?
I didn't see the pictures.
The
Big bags of money.
Money he sent to them was in large boxes, like old, kind of beat up boxes, with hundreds of thousands of dollars in them, just stacks and stacks and stacks of bills.
And he mailed that across
Just
the ocean.
mailed it to Kenya, apparently, and the guy got it and invested it.
Which proves the most honest people in the world are postal workers.
Yes.
Wrapped in duct tape.
Yeah.
Do not open. Do not open.
No.
Contains
Fragility.
cash.
Joe is smiling and laughing now, but let's see if that continues after I read the next story.
Uh-oh.
More tax news for St. Paul residents. St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter proposing an $887 million budget, which would include a 5.3% property tax levy increase. During the address, the mayor this morning discussed the troubles the city has faced at the beginning of the year, including a $23 million deficit and federal funding cuts. He said, we're between sort of a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
On one hand, we have upward pressures on all of our costs, all of our expenses, and on the other hand, we have downward pressures on all of our revenues. Despite these troubles, Carter said he and others had built the 2026 budget with the goals of keeping the property tax levy as low as possible. That increase,
Tried.
that 5.3% increase he's proposing, comes on the heels of some news we gave you yesterday. The Ramsey County Board of Commissioners unveiling a tax levy increase request this week of 9.75%. And, of course, another story we had earlier, the St. Paul Public Schools asking voters to approve a 10-year, $37.2 million per year levy referendum. So, could be a three-way hit on folks who live in the city of St. Paul.
Well, sometimes that happens.
So are you willing to pay for a better St. Paul?
Oh, God, yes.
He has been for decades.
I wonder if I still have it. Joe, do you want me to read it to you?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
From years ago. Look at how yellow and old it is.
Pour the gasoline on the fire, will you?
We get what we pay for. Property taxes in 2023, St. Paul taxes are going up 14.65%. Happy New Year's. I'm not thrilled, but I am grateful. Do I need to continue, Joe?
No.
Because it just goes down that path.
That's somebody paying $12 a year in taxes.
That's Katie Lowry.
Oh, yeah,
of St.
Katie.
Oh, I
Paul.
remember
Katie, you sweetheart.
May I ask a dumb question?
Well, what would that change?
Well, but here's what I'm wondering. The one John read yesterday was from Ramsey County.
That's correct.
And the one today John read is from the city of St.
That's
Paul.
right. You add them together.
But that's my point, because typically
You're at about 15%.
are Minneapolis and St. Paul the only cities that have both a city property tax and a county property
No,
tax?
it's one property tax, but it's determined by the county.
Yeah.
The city just hooks its
Wants
wagon
to add
it.
on
You
to
got
it.
her
I
figured
see.
out.
Okay.
It's wagging to it. I like that. And
Wow.
a story from St. Cloud, a man accused of poisoning his former roommate with thallium, which led to the roommate's death. On June 20th, the St. Cloud Police Department notified that 33-year-old Cody Ernst from St. Cloud had been admitted to the U of M hospital in critical condition. Medical staff determined that Ernst had an extremely high level of the heavy metal thallium in his system. 2 days later, he died as a result. St. Cloud police began investigating and through evidence found that 35-year-old Stuart Hanmer, who was Ernst's roommate at the time of his death, initially poisoned him with the thallium. Hanmer was arrested in Moorhead on Wednesday. He's being held in Stearns County pending formal charges.
Well, what reporting isn't what it used to be. Where do you get thallium?
Yeah, what is it?
How do you know that it's... I'd Google it, but I'll make a list on the FBI's. I'm not going to.
I did Google it this morning.
Oh.
It used to be part of pesticides and that sort of thing, but they removed it because, as you can see, it causes harm to
Why
humans.
you don't like the roommate? Why don't you just say move along?
Listen, Albert, we got to...
Rookie, I've got to say, I'm so disappointed in you.
What?
When Joe asks, where do you get thallium, and you did not say at the thallium store.
Oh.
I mean, you're losing your touch.
Yeah, I'm slipping a little bit. The thallium store.
From the Star Tribune, a venomous green mamba, a boa constrictor, and cobras seized during an Itasca County drug investigation over the weekend. The Itasca County Sheriff's Office said it executed a search warrant at a Deer River property about an hour east of Bemidji, along with methamphetamine, ammunition, and a stolen handgun. Several exotic animals and other creatures were found. According to Ben Harrop, the owner, you never know when the phone rings what it's going to bring, but he says he's rescued larger lots of reptiles, including 40 bearded dragons. He said the animal's owner has contacted him about retrieving some of the creatures, and others will be rehomed. The green mamba, unfortunately, was ill and has since died. A couple of 12-inch venomous centipedes. No thanks. 3 tarantulas and 8 snakes made up the collection.
Serpents.
39-year-old man and 34-year-old woman were arrested. They haven't been charged yet, but Sheriff Joe Dasovich said they will be charged.
There's a lot going on out there.
Yeah.
Kenny, wasn't that your nickname in high school, the Bearded Dragon?
The 12-inch bearded dragon.
Why don't we take a quick break?
No, he was known as the venomous centipede.
12 inches.
Known as the 12-inch venomous centipede.
Foot-long over there.
Somebody do something.
Yeah.
Please take a break, Chris.
Seems like Positive Thursday. I don't know. Did it come early this week? As always, Positive Thursday brought to us by Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care. They're right there in Shoreview, 1060 County Road E. 4th generation of Schoonover. Matthew with us today. Hiya, Matthew.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going very well, and I have a very fun email from a GLer that I've been really dying to read to you guys. It's from GLer Brian. Kenny, I have a Ram 3500 ProMaster built out as a camper van, and it's always difficult to find places to get it serviced because of its size. I needed new tires and an oil change, so I assumed it was a trip to the Ram commercial dealer. On a whim, last Saturday, I pinged Schoonovers to see if they could deal with an oversized vehicle. In a half an hour, even though they're closed on Saturday, I got a text that said, "No problem, when do you want to come in?" I also asked if somebody could contact me on Monday to discuss tire options. 8 a.m. Monday comes along. I get a text from Quinn asking what I was looking for. He recommended the same exact tires that I had been looking at and was able to get them in a few days. To top it off, they were also willing to change the oil on my rig for a very nominal charge, which beat me crawling under the vehicle to do it myself. The service was great. The price was fair. And on top of it, they washed it. What do you think of that, Matthew?
Oh, wow. That sounds, I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that he's happy with the service. And yeah, I mean, it is something that we don't advertise a whole lot, but I mean, we can accept a variety of vehicle sizes and vehicle types, for that matter. I mean, a camper is definitely not our forte, but we can take whatever someone needs done and get it done for them, whether it be body work or mechanical work.
Reason number 999 why you guys rock so hard. Number one, Quinn returning a text on the weekend when he really doesn't have to because, it's the weekend. And then the fact that you guys always wash the vehicles. I shouldn't say you always do. In this case, you definitely did. But that's why we love you guys so much, Matthew. You're just so delightful to work with.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Kenny. We appreciate that. And yes, the detailing is something that we try to do to set us apart from other shops. And I mean, specifically mechanical shops, a whole lot of people don't get a wash normally when they're getting an oil change, but I think a lot of people would be very delighted to get their, 6-month oil change and get a clean car with it as well.
Yeah, definitely. You guys, you've been around since 1938, and Matthew, you're now the 4th generation of the family to work at Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care, the official shop of Garage Logic, and y'all just heard why. They're always rated as one of the top shops in the metro. You know why now. SchoonoverBodyWorks.com. Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you, Kenny. Have a good day, everybody.
Okay.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
So I'm on the wearenutsmn.com website as we speak, and those of you that are not able to go to any one of the locally owned Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores, Lunds and Byerly's, or Kowalski's, you can place your order online. And I got to give a big shout out to Big Jim, the owner, the big shot, Mr. Big Nuts.
Yep.
The boys and I stopped over on Friday after GL to go visit the booth and take a little caption photo there with the little display. And he said, "Do you guys like Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal?" And of course, my boys said,
Yes,
yes.
they do. It's fantastic.
He handed them each a jar of the cinnamon toffee peanuts. They were devoured before we got back to the Hubbard shuttle.
In the back seat of the car.
So guess what I had to do?
Go back and get more.
Go to Fratelloni's and buy 2 more jars of the cinnamon toffee peanuts. So I've got 2 new fans of those types of nuts. And that's the best thing about the snacks they make at We Are Nuts and wearenutsmn.com. It's handmade in small batches right here in the great city of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And they're wonderful, family-owned operation. And you're going to be really happy if you decide, I got Johnny Height hooked on the maple bourbon toffee almonds. The snacks are wonderful. The people are even better. And they do a lot of great things over there at We Are Nuts.
The
And
wasabi snack mix was very well represented on Lake Minnetonka this week.
Fantastic. And I also brought the hot nuts because I went to my uncle's cabin. He loves spicy food, and he loved those as well. So they've got all types of snacks for everybody that you are looking for. So once again, visit wearenutsmn.com. Place your order and let them know that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast, Johnny.
Thank you, Chris. And I live, just a block from a Fratelloni's, and I have killed off 2 maple bourbon almond jars in the last week.
He walks in, they just set him on the counter.
Yeah,
Here you go,
I need to go get one more at least. At least. In national and international stories, the city of Washington this morning filed a lawsuit against President Trump and the military over the deployment of the National Guard in the nation's capital. The president, according to the suit, has run roughshod over a fundamental tenet of American democracy that the military should not be involved in domestic law enforcement. The suit follows a ruling from a federal judge in California this week who found that the Trump administration had violated the Posse Comitatus Act, which bars the use of soldiers for civilian law enforcement activities. Federal judge in Boston yesterday ordering the Trump administration to reverse its cuts of more than $2.6 billion in research funding for Harvard University, delivering a victory to the Ivy League school in its battle with the White House. U.S. District Judge Allison Burroughs ruled the cuts amounted to illegal retaliation for Harvard's rejection of the Trump administration's demands for changes to Harvard's governance and policies. Survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse gathered on Capitol Hill yesterday to call for the release of all files related to the government's investigation into the convicted child sex offender who died in 2019. They also urged the government not to give Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate who is serving 20 years in prison for sex trafficking, any special treatment. At the same time that they were on Capitol Hill, President Trump said at the White House that the Epstein case is a Democratic hoax that never ends. The survivors criticized the president's comments that the case was a hoax and appealed to him to meet and describe the pain they had endured. One of the survivors, Haley Robson, saying, "Mr. President, I'm a registered Republican. Not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We're real human beings and this is real trauma."
What is this?
Well, Don does not need to say this is a Democratic hoax. That's really bad.
What is this? Is this just more titillation for the great unwashed lot of us who have no ability to understand that third rail is running things, so they throw us this crumb once in a while? They're never going to get to the bottom of this.
Well,
this is either nothing or get to the bottom of it.
You always have to wonder what's really going on while they're distracting us with nonsense.
This is ridiculous.
Get us arguing about something that like this instead of...
Well, what's out of the news that this has replaced?
Get us asking the wrong questions.
Okay.
I might go the opposite way, Kenny. I think they've put things in a way to get in the way of this. Put other
to put stuff to, so this is downplayed?
So this is downplayed, yeah.
Either way, we're getting played, aren't we?
Either way,
I can just say this.
Matter.
When you watch that poor woman who was on or at the podium, as Johnny mentioned, talking about getting raped up to 4 times a day at the age of 10, I'm sorry, you don't get away with saying this is a Democratic hoax. There is a bunch of
Even Marjorie Taylor Greene has come around.
What did she say? I missed it.
She wants the files released.
There's 3 Republicans or 4 Republicans that will vote, but they need 6. And there's 4 right now that will. And apparently the president has told Republicans do not vote to release.
They're no different than Jeremiah Ellison. No balls, no soul, no character.
It's a nonpartisan list, right? Am I correct in assuming that?
Seems like it.
In every partisan list, right? I mean, they're all involved, it sounds like.
But what are we worried about that? Prince Andrew went and was on.
I think we're
Trump's
more
worried that he'd be revealed as a pedophile.
I think we're more worried about our own people.
Yeah, and Prince Andrew.
Trump, Clinton, God knows who else is on the list.
So many names have been mentioned so prominently. It's just hard to believe anything I read. I just, my mistrust and everything.
Where does the list sit right now? Is there a list, and where do you think it sits?
I don't know. I don't care.
You know what? Let's start there.
See, they're winning. They're winning. I told you this before.
Yeah.
They'll give you enough bits and pieces to wear you out, and then you get tired of it.
Yep.
And she's not saying anything because she thinks she's going to get pardoned or favored.
She already has been taken care of and put in a country club prison.
These 6 women were asked yesterday when they talked to reporters, was there any inappropriate, reporters' word, not mine, behavior from Donald Trump or Bill Clinton, and they all said no, none that we witnessed. So for what that's worth,
Well, then Trump, let it go, release it,
Yeah, exactly. Newsmax, the TV station, this is kind of a weird lawsuit suing Fox News, alleging the network has illegally cornered the market on viewership among conservatives. Isn't that the whole point if you're a TV channel? To corner the market?
Yeah.
In the lawsuit, Newsmax attorneys argue Fox has, quote, long engaged in an exclusionary scheme to increase and maintain its dominance in the market for U.S. right-leaning pay TV news, resulting in suppression of competition in that market that harms consumers, competition, and Newsmax. The lawsuit reads, Fox leverages the market power to coerce distributors into not caring or into marginalizing other right-leaning news channels, including Newsmax. In a statement to The Hill, a Fox News spokesperson pushed back, saying Newsmax cannot sue their way out of their own competitive failures in the marketplace to chase headlines. Well, they're right. I mean,
yeah, I know, but it's so funny to hear. It's just so ridiculous, isn't it?
Giorgio Armani died today.
Oh,
he designed suits.
Wait, before we move, you were done with that story?
Yeah.
I think Joe should pay extra close attention to this. It might open up a window for him to sue Adam Carolla.
Yeah, you're getting more people than I am.
Yeah, what do you just said?
It's not fair, Adam.
Not fair.
Giorgio Armani dying. He was, of course, the king of a high-end lifestyle empire. He died at the age of 91. The best-known contemporary designer, Armani opened his fashion house in Milan in 1975, quickly rising to the top of the industry and going on to dress the stars. His funeral will be private, according to his family. Well-wishers can pay respects beforehand at a funeral chamber open on Saturday and Sunday.
Was he one of them gays?
He did not have a wife.
I don't think.
While his niece Roberta Armani is sometimes referred to in photo captions as his wife due to their close relationship and appearances together, she is his niece and not his spouse. Armani also had a longtime partner, Leo Del Coro, and previously had a business partner, Sergio Giolati.
He designed them suits? Was he a suit designer?
Suit and female fashion.
He did female
also.
Too, huh?
He was a good tailor.
Yeah.
Made a good living.
I'll fit her.
Made a good living. Farm Aid is coming
comfortable.
up.
You know, it says he never had been married, and boy, was his mom puzzled about that.
Good-looking guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you take out certain aspects of that relationship. Wouldn't that be preferable? I mean, you're not going to fight about putting away the dishes.
Right.
Clothes on the floor.
You got all that money. What you want to Porky Pig it?
Somebody to help you in the shop.
Yeah.
You might get a
play golf with.
But you might get a Tony Randall, a very meticulous it might could backfire.
Wait, now Tony Randall wasn't gay.
In The Odd Couple, he was kind of meticulous.
We just mean male roommates, platonic, John.
Yeah, but one of them just poisoned a guy with thalidomide.
Farm Aid is coming up. It's here this year, of course, in the Twin Cities. If you can't make it to Huntington Bank Stadium on September 20th, you can now watch it on TV. CNN has announced they will air the concert from 6 to 11 p.m. our time, September 20th.
Why in the hell would you go if you can watch it on TV?
And they'll stream it on CNN.com.
John, do you have the list? Because I'm wondering how many of these musicians are going to be with us next year.
The lineup this year will include the board members, Farm Aid board members Willie Nelson, Neil Young with the band Chrome Hearts, John Mellencamp, Dave Matthews, who will be playing with Tim Reynolds, who's a wonderful guitar player and singer, and Margot Price. Some other fine acts will be there too, including Billy Strings, Trampled by Turtles, and many, many others. Farm Aid has given $32 million to farmers through the years. The 2024 Farm Aid distributed nearly $1.5 million in grants, including $60,000 in emergency grants to individual farmers and their families who struggled to make ends meet.
Only Rookie might remember this, but do you know who I saw at the fair? She introduced herself.
Who?
Pangy. Do you remember the name?
Pangy. Pangy was Dave Matthews' biggest fan.
First thing I said to her is, "Are you still a Dave Matthews fan?" I think that because that's terrible. That's the worst music in the world.
What, in the 90s? That was 98
Is she?
Yes.
So she's going to Farm Aid.
Maybe.
I'm sure she is.
Dave Matthews sucks.
Are they the ones that dumped the poo in the Chicago River?
They dumped a load right in the river.
And nobody noticed.
I guess somebody noticed because he got ticketed for it.
Well, they just said it's our music.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I disagree with you guys again about something musical.
Well, of course you're
trying to get that horrible music out of their eyes.
Here we're singing like this. Especially the stuff he does with Tim Reynolds. But anyway, the Powerball jackpot continues to grow.
I got gas yesterday and forgot to get a ticket.
How much longer do I need to keep investing in this sham?
One more time.
No winner last night. It's now estimated at $1.7 billion for the next drawing on Saturday. That would be a cash value of about $770 million. However, remember, if you have a ticket, don't throw it away. And here's why. 11 tickets matched all 5 white balls to win $1 million prizes last night, including one here in Minnesota.
Do you know that you have your chances are 1 in 296 million?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's a
John,
chance.
Out of all the numbers I bought, one matched.
Was it the Powerball?
No, it was.
You didn't win anything.
I only had 2 tickets.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks, pal.
So we had $11 million winners. We had 4 tickets who matched all 5 white balls and increased the winnings to $2 million, but including the power play. None of those in Minnesota. There were also 117 tickets that won $50,000 prizes and 36 tickets that won $100,000 prizes.
What I noticed was being optimistic doesn't help.
No.
It doesn't help at all.
Doesn't increase your chances.
No, in fact, when I go to the Pro Stop on Cleveland and see my guy Randy, he just basically says, "Here's another loser. Loser.
Here you go,
And I give him the money. Yeah. Thanks, Randy.
I haven't checked mine. Maybe I won $100,000. What do you think?
No, I doubt it.
What do you have to win $100,000?
5 white balls.
No, you need
That's
to
a mill.
match. You need to match 4.
Oh, 4.
And the Powerball. And then you have to have the power play on. If you don't have the power play, you only win $50,000.
Look at him.
What the hell is he talking about?
Just take it to the thing.
The power play is when you have a one-man advantage and you're trying to score the puck.
So, Johnny, there was $1 million winner?
In Minnesota, there was 11 million. No, there was 11 tickets. Yeah,
Holy balls
for $1 million. One of them in Minnesota.
And all you need to win the mill is just to have the Powerball number.
You match all the white balls.
No.
Oh my God!
What's wrong with you?
All 5.
You paying attention?
I'd rather listen to
Do you know how to match all the white balls together?
Joe, if you match the white ball,
an
you
art.
get
It's an art.
$2, Joe. $2 if you match the Powerball. That's what
That ain't even worth taking back to the gas station.
Well, sure it is. You can get another ticket then, see, for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Roll it over.
Roll exactly.
I would like to liquidate my assets.
I'm going to need all of that.
$17.
Why doesn't some math genius?
It's too expensive.
I'm sure
Here we
this
go.
has happened.
Here we go.
Or I'm sure this.
Pay attention
You
now.
haven't let me ask my
Can't
question.
wait for this.
Okay.
This is good. Wait, let me get a pen.
Why didn't some math genius invest $1 billion
Well,
to win $1.7 billion?
okay, so if he buys 1 billion tickets, there's no guarantee he's
And
going to win.
what happens if he does and then he matches somebody? He just lost half of what
That's
he just
a good
spent.
point. Chris made a good point.
Thank you, John.
Because you split the earnings if there's more than one winner.
See? You got that all, Dave?
Because some moron like me would win it when you went ahead and did the
Right.
$1.8 billion.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Thanks, Johnny.
yeah,
John, thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah, John, thanks a lot.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
Let's talk about North American Banking Company. Joe,
What?
let me use some logic.
All right.
Do you own a doghouse?
No.
You're one of them gays, huh?
But I could get a loan for one.
You could, absolutely. Or you could hire Royce to build you a doghouse,
Yep.
and then the dog would take it down the
Dog
street.
took it with him.
But here's the thing. North American Banking Company has had one simple philosophy since 1998, and that is this. It's banking done differently. And you get that feeling anytime you walk in any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, whether it's 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, Maple Grove, or you know what, they're over in Roseville as well, by the way. And they offer the same online and mobile banking options as all the other big national banks. But the key difference is you're going to get that personalized touch and that absolutely personal touch when it comes to your banking experience. And you can check them out online today, which is nabankco.com to learn more. It doesn't matter whether you're looking to buy a home, maybe finance a new home renovation project, or get that new car or that new doghouse you've been dreaming about. My friends at North American Banking Company are going to give you a better banking experience. So once again, check them out online. nabankco.com to learn more. It's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. Joe?
Only because they come to us all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province, South Africa, from the Traveling Lyman's. It was on this day,
September 4th.
in 1882, Oliver Crosby and Frank Johnson opened the Franklin Manufacturing Company, renamed Amhoist in 1892. The Derrick Crane Company was a major St. Paul employer until 1985 when it relocated to Wilmington, North Carolina. American Hoist and Derrick. On this day,
September 4th.
in 1884, an assassin attempted to murder the Lakota leader Sitting Bull at the Grand Opera House in St. Paul. Sitting Bull was there as part of a program where, incidentally, he met Annie Oakley. On this day,
September 4th.
in 1908, a forest fire burned Chisholm, causing millions of dollars in damage and leaving 6,000 people homeless. On this day,
On September 4th.
in 1939, Duluth's Incline Railway made its final trip. Built in 1891 for $400,000, it had carried passengers up 7th Avenue from Superior to 9th Street, a distance of 2,749 feet. All right. Turn the page. On this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history.
What'd we do on September 4th?
Well, it was on this day in 1915, the first and only Minneapolis 500 automobile race.
Oh, at the airport.
Tom Lyman did some research. The track was located where MSP is, where Wold Chamberlain Field was built in 1920.
I think I also heard that from Kenny.
Jesus.
What did he say? Well, I'm trying to do the bit. And
I swear to God, you're my wife.
What did he say?
I swear you're my wife.
So that's it.
You one of
Thank
them
you.
gays?
Yeah, thank you.
I wish.
Thank you. Oh, Kelsey is weird. He lives in some house that the guy that founded Little Canada lives in. We had that on this day in history. And he also knows a lot about the burning of the prison. He thinks he's the Forrest Gump of this day of prison.
Really?
Yeah.
Take a walk. Hey, I want to say hello to the Garage Logic family that was at the airport at T2 yesterday, homeschooling their kids. They were very normal. Coming back from a trip out east, I said I was going to tell them hello.
Not the terminal that's not the main one?
Correct. That is correct. They had a big family trip, and now they're...
And the family's name is?
The McCallskis.
I didn't even find their name. I don't even know.
They know who they are. Really good. Did they ever hear of the show?
Yeah, they listen to the show. They listen all the time.
Well, whoever you are, we appreciate you.
See ya.
Send me an email so I can name you. You know? Are we done yet?
Yeah, you are. Get out there and make planes land.
Let's go.
It is time once again to check in with our guy, Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold is with us once again right here in Garage Logic, and now is the time for you to do the same. So do not delay. Do exactly what I did and pick up that phone and dial 952-925-5608. That number once again is 952-925-5608. When you call that number, you're going to get Josh, and he is there for you for that free, yes, I use the word free, 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation, and he will always give you the straight talk. He will never give you the sugar-coated advice, and he is on the line with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And boy, Josh, this morning you sent me the updated official NFL team evaluations for 2025, and this comes on the heels of the New York Giants selling 10% of the controlling interest of their franchise for $1 billion.
Now, Chris, when we talk about football, instead of talking about what the odds are between, let's say, tonight's opener between the Cowboys and the Eagles, we should talk about the valuations of the teams, the Cowboys versus the Eagles, or the Cowboys versus the Vikings, or the Bears versus the Vikings, and we can talk about their valuations. The Vikings, by the way, are ranked 21st out of the 32 teams in terms of valuations at $6.1 billion valuation. The Cowboys, America's team, $12.5 billion valuation. Oh my goodness, is that unbelievable. So when the Vikings play the Cowboys, well, the Cowboys are at least a 2-1 favorite based on valuation. Now, of course, any team versus the Cowboys is going to be, huge. The Arizona Cardinals are the least valuable NFL team at $5.1 billion. And the Philadelphia Eagles, well, they're in the top 5 teams, and their valuation is at $9 billion. So just on that alone, the Cowboys should be favored to beat the Eagles tonight, though the Eagles are listed as a preseason favorite not only to make the playoffs, but to be in the Super Bowl. We'll see how that develops. But valuations for the NFL teams continue to go up, and more groups want to be part of the action. Heck, the Bears saw their valuation increase significantly, actually by a third, as the McCaskey and Ryan families bought out a minority interest, one of their deceased minority owners, and that boosted their valuation to almost $8.6 billion. I mean, those are huge, huge numbers. And if I look at the revenue for an NFL franchise, the average revenue, this is in 2024, get this, was $687 million a year. That's the average revenue. And of that, the teams share approximately $433 million in revenue coming from TV rights, etc. So the balance of that revenue increase is coming from the revenue that each team generates over and above the shared revenue. And those numbers are pretty significant. Heck, most of the NFL teams, I'm not going to say just by valuation alone, would would at least be in most small to mid-cap indexes just on their valuation, and the revenue that they generate is greater than many companies within the S&P 500. Those are big numbers. And the people who are getting in, well, you still have some individuals, but there are more and more private equity firms that are getting involved in the NFL. And heck, it's going the other way as well. The NFL is taking ownership stakes in, like, ESPN. They're getting a 10% ownership stake in ESPN. Now, ESPN, you would think, well, they're going to have a nice benefit, but what happens is the ESPN is going to take on a lot of the production costs for getting the NFL, and the way that they'll be able to make that up is through, or at least hopefully through, increased advertising revenue. Now, ESPN believes they're making a good bet on this, as the top watch programs, I'll say of the top watch television programs in the last year, the NFL games cover about 70% of the top watch television programs last year. That's a huge deal. The NFL also has a minority stake in Paramount Skydance. So we'll say that's another way for you to look at the NFL as a huge enterprise. Now, what else is a way that you can take advantage of this? We'll say phenomena. Well, betting on football is purported, according to a recent survey by some analysts, that sports betting, in particular online sports betting for football, is suggested to increase significantly this year. Surveys show that online sports betting should increase this year another 11% over last year. And that could benefit Flutter, which owns FanDuel, and favorite DraftKings. These companies do have, they do have some, moats around them, as bets can only be placed in those states. Online bets can only be placed in those places where states have approved online sports betting, and that right now covers about 30-some states for each of those companies, DraftKings and Flutter. Flutter also gets money from all the other betting that goes on around the world, as Flutter, a British company, also has other types of wagers, and they are one of the leading, bookmakers worldwide. Privately held Fanatics also has been making inroads into online sports betting, and all three companies do spend a little bit on, marketing and promotions, so I know DraftKings has brought that down. And then, of course, you have the casinos that operate sports books, whether it's Win WinBet, MGM through MGM Bets, and Penn Gaming has their affiliation with ESPN Bets. The two majors for online sports betting, DraftKings and Flutter, have about a 75% market share between them, leaving, the casinos and others to fight for the remaining bits. All of these companies, the betting companies, do face, some risks, of course, that the odds they set don't quite meet expectations, as different teams cover the spreads or different parlay bets that go on. But given it's the start of football season, TV viewership is going to go up, online betting is going to go up, and who else is going to participate in football or watching football? Well, there's favorite Amazon and Apple as part of the package. So get ready for some football, because it does generate a lot of money.
Excellent advice, as always, Mr. Money Talk. You heard him, GLers. Now is the time for you to pick up the phone and make the call for that free 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And you do that just like I did by dialing 952-925-5608. where you always get straight talk and never, ever sugar-coated advice. Josh, once again, thank you so much for the time and the chat. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.